Yeah. I think that we're really in planning now.
Yeah.
Uh, mhm.
Okay. I can make that change on our dashboard to planning. And then we have had some CRADE movement. Of course, we'll get into that here in a minute, but um, we have not gone over the updating the metrics yet. So I don't think the percentage will change for us until we do that, right?
The percent complete is attached to the schedule, but actually on Friday I did clean up the metric sheet.
Oh, okay.
So this bar chart is actually correct.
Great. I did
And
add another item today. Um, so that might not have affected it, but we can get that updated as well.
okay, if you hover over like each of the sections in each bar, you'll see like there's in progress, there's 10 action items.
Hmm.
Yeah, which is helpful just to,
Definitely.
so the team has a view of like what's on the grade log without actually going to it.
Right. All right. Yeah, we did have, as we see in the activity highlights, last week I did attend that monthly COP session. It was helpful. Out of that actually spawned a meeting. I'm going to be meeting with New Jersey tomorrow, Maria from New Jersey, just as a state to discuss what exactly they're up to with their IBIS changes and everything. But the monthly session with all of the states was also very useful, learning where they're all at. I actually learned that we are a bit ahead of the curve. Um, I believe it was, I'm trying to remember exactly which state it is, but one of the states is no longer allowing the usage of SVN or subversion tech uh, in their domains and their networks, I guess. So it came up that all of the states are now trying to migrate from SVN to GitHub. And I let them know that New Mexico is already sort of leading that charge so that we are going to be able to help them with that, should they need any assistance. And Paul, I think your name came up several times. I mentioned to Lois this morning that they hold you both in very high regard. But I think that they'll be reaching out to you soon for you to assist them. I think with that, just what it means to move to Git and things like that. I didn't sign you up. They just said that they were going to do it. So,
No, that's fine. I did get a message from Utah, and I
okay.
actually talked with the head of vault practice in STG as well as the account manager. Just letting him know that there, some of the states may need. Well, all of the states will have different levels of handholding um, and support. So I just kind
Right.
of gave them a heads up for that.
Okay. Great. Yep, and also from that meeting, Anna, I expressed our interest to it. It was already mentioned the concept of the co-op RFP. I did tell them that New Mexico is looking into whether or not that's even an option for us, whether or not we'd be able to pursue that. And they were just excited that we had a representative on the call in the first place. So, um, yeah, I will be. I think we're meeting again. I think it was the 18th of next month. So,
Mhm.
um, I'll be bringing in, some more information from that as we continue to attend that meeting.
Okay, that sounds great. And with regard to can we even participate in a joint RFP, I would recommend that you touch base with Diane Rivera in the PMO. She's very familiar with procurement rules in New Mexico, and if she doesn't know the answer to the question, she can put you in touch with other procurement people within DOH.
Okay, perfect. Yep,
Okay.
I'm
I
not
can
sure if
definitely get that done this week.
I mentioned this already, but if they do choose to move forward with a kind of a group, um, what STG has done in the past is, and I I'm just throwing this out there as an option, is each entity or each state had a separate contract um, for deliverables, but it was kind of under, one umbrella. So in some sense, it's not like you're joining. I mean, you could argue that you're not joining a multi-state contract. You would
Sure.
each have your individual contract, but STG pooling those resources,
into one project on their
yeah, would
end.
I think would make it feasible and not, and where there's overlap, which there has been a great deal of overlap, you would maybe get more bang for the buck. That's the kind of thought about it.
Yeah, sure, and that's good to know. I think right now what I got out of that meeting was that the assumption right now is that STG will be performing discovery but not actually implementing the new system. But regardless, I think whoever the vendor is, should we go that route, I think they would be able to do a similar thing where, like you're saying, Paul, we wouldn't necessarily all, the same signature document or whatever, we wouldn't necessarily all be on the same exact contract, but
Correct.
each state having a contract under the same umbrella, like you said.
And just a little more info. So the way, at least I believe I understand what STG is doing with the states, is the only thing that is on the table now is this discovery process to get to a point where it's a information gathering, and then it's, I guess, probably a kind of a file report as far as how to do best practices and things of that sort. And
Right.
I'm assuming that STG would like to do the implementation, but that's just down the road.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is possible. I haven't heard anything else about STG's, intentions aside from what I heard in that meeting. And they said at the least they'll be required to open it to a bid and not allow or not be able to recommend a sole source vendor like STG. So they would be opening it up to proposal and everything as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are definitely doing that discovery process, and the contract in Hawaii has actually been executed. So Hawaii is beginning their discovery, I think, as of last week.
So have you, and Hawaii is a little bit of they're already kind of different from the traditional IBIS. They actually have I think we talked about this. There's basically IBIS, there's a WordPress site, and then there's this other county dashboard that we've kind of been able to integrate under one kind of DNS domain, so they all go to one place. Have you also had who have you talked with in STG?
In STG, I have not spoken to anybody.
So he just got that from the COP call.
No, I understand. I'm just saying.
Mika and I met with STG about, maybe 2 months ago. And we
Okay.
met with, we met with 3 different people. One of them, I think, was Chick.
Yeah, Chick is the account manager, and you
Yeah.
probably met with Celestia
And Kelly maybe.
and maybe Kelly.
Probably. I can't remember
Okay.
their names right offhand.
All right, I just wanted to make sure that you're in contact.
Yeah, and Justin, I will add their contact info to the contact sheet if they're not already
Sure.
there.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great.
And feel free to reach out to Chick. I would say Chick would be the one to reach out to. He'd be coordinating anything.
Okay, sure. That's definitely good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so that meeting has already proven to be useful, just from that one attendance, and then I'm sure it will continue to be. And we'll get an update, I think, from the other states and what they're up to. So I think that that's going to be worthwhile going forward. I should add as an activity highlight to last week that we actually got all of our developers access to the GitHub, which is a big deal. Evidently, we had been trying to get that from Do It for several weeks, if not months. So huge shout out to Rod in assisting me with that. And then Travis Moore on our side was also very influential in getting that. So we have developers with access to not just GitHub, but also the IBIS code. And they'll be able to start poking around in that here soon.
Great.
It is, yeah. That was some exciting stuff last week. And I think all three of our devs were able to confirm access as well. So
And guys, I'm looking at the invitation for the meeting that was associated with the STG meeting that Mika and I had.
Mhm.
And we met with Kelly Bauer,
Yeah,
Chick, and also Celestia.
correct.
Yeah. So I'll put that out on the team contact list, Justin. Working on
Awesome.
it now.
Thank you, Anna.
Mhm.
Great. Anna, is there anything else you'd like to add about the status of the dashboard before we move into the CRADE log?
Nope.
All right. All right, so we've had some good movement in the CRADE log in the last week. Specifically, like I was saying, we'll get into them, but in the latter issues, we were actually able to get our GitHub repositories initialized, set up, code is versioned, and developers have access. So that's probably our biggest update. I don't think that we have any updates on the grant application currently, or the the ERD. Mika and I did not get to do that last week, but once he returns this week, I'll schedule a meeting with him for us to get that ERD created using his local SQL Server version.
Great.
Okay, so I think we can officially say that CRADE 004 with the IBIS code and dictionary are actually completed. Since we discussed there's no official data dictionary, but you guys have provided us the materials that you do have. We do have the code, and we're going to next, I think, begin working on setting up local environments for the developers to go through and have a testing database and everything. So with that, I think we are fulfilling the need for the data dictionary as well.
So, Justin, one
Yep.
thing on the data dictionary.
Mhm.
I think, and I'm not sure if we've committed or not, but there was a suggestion about us providing once we have our access back, which I think I have most of my access back, providing you or the team with proc contents for the SAS data sets that would at least show you the values that are the variables that are being used in most of the data sets for the query part of IBIS as opposed to the database for admin.
Sure. Yeah, I think that would be useful.
All right, so we'll put that on our task list.
Okay, great. I'll go ahead and keep this one as in progress then, and we can use this this item to track that. Okay, and again with the ERD, so number 5 here, Mika and I will work on that later this week whenever he's back in the office. I'll go ahead and add to this task to mention that. Okay, we've not, I don't think, explored any more options with Heidi, simply because she is out of office, and I believe she is scheduled to return tentatively next week. Of course, I don't have contact with her and can't confirm that, so we'll just sort of play all options dependent on Heidi by ear, but hopefully early April we'll be able to start getting some more velocity on the things that that Heidi is working on or that we're dependent on her for. Okay, I think, Paul, we had discussed last time a document for your tech stack. Have you made any progress on that?
No.
Okay. No, that's all right. I understand. Do you think I don't know exactly what you're throwing into the document. How much longer do you think it'll take you to work on?
I, let's check in a week. I should have
Sure.
it, and then I'll have something, and then if it's not enough or you want more, I'll do that.
Sure. That sounds good. Yeah, we can check back in, I think, next Monday if that works for you.
Yep.
Okay, so reaching out to other states to find out about their IBIS solution and which vendors they are using. Again, I can add a note about my having attended that meeting last week. And that I will be meeting with New Jersey tomorrow. And thank you again, Paul, for setting up that introduction between me and Maria.
You're welcome.
Okay, and again, with Heidi being out of office, no real updates here. Go ahead and just note that we don't have one. And then similarly, we do have the sort of duplicative tasks here tracking the ERD. But same update that Mika and I will work on it whenever he gets back. And then Paul, I think you have a meeting on the schedule with Mika to update the last certificate. Is that correct for IBIS?
Correct.
Okay.
I may need to change it, but yeah, we'll be working on that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you guys are meeting, I guess, just sometime later this week after he gets back.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and then I don't think we have an update on this one either. Stephanie was not able to make the meeting today, if I'm correct. She had a conflict or she's out of office. So I can follow up with her later on this, but I think that this is more of a slow moving task and we're not really expecting progress on a weekly basis anyway. So I can check in with her later on that one.
Yeah, and I cannot recall, but I think you all know that Stephanie's gonna be retiring soon?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
And Chelsea Langer will be in her place on the IBIS project.
Great. That is right. I can't recall when, does anyone recall when Stephanie's, her departure date is?
Yes, it's the end of March. So I think like officially April 1st is when Chelsea will be in her place, is my
Okay.
understanding.
It's a terrible day to take over a role.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That's true. Okay. So number 29 here, this one was a big deal, migrating the IBIS source code of materials to GitHub. Again, kudos to Rod and Paul for the efforts you guys put in to get that done. We do have, I think, Rod, is it 7 different GitHub repositories now that host all the different materials?
That's correct, 7.
Awesome. Yep. So thank you again for that. That's a great thing to have done, and our developers now have access to that. So I can go ahead and knock off 31 as complete as well.
And Justin, you should have access to, be able to look at the code. And,
Yes, I have confirmed that I do. Thank you.
Excellent.
All right. And then, Paul, we started communications today, I believe, about setting up those local instances for our developers. What I identified as an action item for myself and for Ash, who will be assisting us on the project out of this, was getting a test or development SQL Server database created for the application to run against. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and make a create entry for that. Ash will be assisting us with getting that database established.
That was a message I had. I wanted you to review, Lois. I don't know if you had a chance. But
I haven't yet.
Paul, what else would you say the developers would be waiting on to get started? I think we can have them. You'd mentioned installing JREs and things like that. We can have them do that before they meet with you.
sure, I'll get you the
versions and stuff.
or the versions that we suggest. Maybe we can ask right now. What are we using? We're using Eclipse Adoptium for the. We just need JREs. We don't need JDKs. At least for the quote unquote content development environment.
Okay.
Is that okay to use?
The Eclipse.
Eclipse Adoptium. They're a provider of Java JREs.
Oh, okay. I'm not actually familiar. Rod, do you know if the DOH has any specific guidelines or requirements regarding Java installations?
No, I don't. I know that the web services team wanted to use. I'm trying.
You're trailing off there a little, Rod.
Oh, you are? Okay, sorry. I must be really kind of quiet here. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay.
To use what is the darn thing called? I got too many things in my mind right now. It's well, a different product. I just can't remember what the doggone thing is called.
Is it just a version of like an open source JDK or something?
I think it's actually from Oracle or something.
Oh, okay.
Like that.
It is from Oracle.
Yeah.
Do
you remember the name, Paul? Because off the top of my, I just don't know.
Well, there'd be an Oracle JRE. It's,
No, I was thinking about the
we need a,
IDE.
we need a JRE, in the, you know, in 9.x. Needs to be more than 8 and less than, well, it could be 10, but it needs to be more than 8. I should say that. We can actually run from, I think 9, it's been tested from 9 to 17.
Oh, nice wide. I'm trying to find the name now.
So Justin, you might want to just type in that one, Eclipse Adoptium ?
Sure. Go ahead and find the
Local instances.
there it is. Yeah, cool.
The way I understand Oracle, you know, each individual, obviously, entity would have different licenses, but I think after JRE 8, they're, you know, wanting you to pay for licenses, and that's why we kind of moved to an open source.
Yeah, doggone it.
Yeah, that's my understanding of it as well, is that Oracle's requiring the licenses for their JREs and JDKs. So most people or organizations, I think, are moving over to open source ones in an effort to not have to pay
Correct.
for that.
And then you could put in that same cell, need JRE only, not JDK.
Yeah.
It's a lot of detail, but while we're on
That's
the
it's
subject.
useful. It's good to know. And Paul did mention that in his email as well.
You probably want a Tomcat 9.
And I think I'll probably actually work on creating well, maybe Paul, I was about to say your tech stack document will likely have that information in it as well.
Sure.
Yeah, I was going to say that I could start a document about the requirements for setup, but I think we should separately, I guess, document setting up a local instance and what the process for that is. I would prefer, I mean, if I can attend those meetings, I can work on documenting it while you guys actually perform the actions, and we can sort of get it done at the same time.
Sure. I like that.
So I have PowerPoint presentations that document for, you know, Stephanie's program staff, mostly is what it was done for, how to set up your local development environment. I can pass that along.
Maybe we
Oh,
should
fantastic.
I'd like to edit it.
Yeah, we can look at it, and
Yeah.
make sure it's still current.
Either way, it sounds like a great starting point, so I'm glad we have that. Okay, great. I will go ahead and say that the local instance setup, because we're discussing other items around it, even though we're not actually having the official setup meeting, that we're in progress with it.
And then I'm probably going to lean on Rod's expertise with Git. I can kind of, or I can discuss how we set up this content development environment using Tortoise, and you know, it's going to change with Git.
Right.
But I'll put that in a kind of a separate email, or it's going to be part of the documentation, and then we can kind of change it together.
Yep, that works. Okay, so I think we have a path forward on the local instances. I'll try to, I don't know, Rod, do you have an idea of where you might be able to get an answer for guidelines of JREs from the DOH if they do have
Oh, jeez. Uh,
anybody that might know that?
I don't know many. I'm reaching out to one person to answer the. Yeah, yeah.
Maybe able to
Uh,
speak as well, but
Yeah, yeah. The other
Um,
one I know is Clint.
so I don't, I mean,
Oh, you probably don't. And he's not on this. Not involved.
and I don't
in
know
this.
if this is, if it's changed, but, you know, the production and the verify environment is using, um, Eclipse. So,
Yeah.
I don't know how much has been vetted, but it's at least been viewed by IT.
Okay.
You know, we jump through a bunch of hoops.
I think if it's already
I
being
think
used in
I think I
production and
remember it
verify.
now. It's
Yeah.
JetBrains. That's the IDE that they're using, JetBrains.
Okay.
Jet
So,
Breeze.
JetBrains.
Yeah,
Oh, Jet.
JetBrains has IntelliJ. It's a IDE
They're using
for
IntelliJ.
developers to use.
Yeah, I know it's not Eclipse. And I
No,
don't know
these aren't
Java, so-
developers. These are just either the JRE or the JDK.
Yeah, the
Eclipse
runtime
has an
environment.
IDE, but there's obviously another open source project for the JREs and the JDK, and they just call that Eclipse Adoptium.
Yeah, I found the Adoptium page here. So I think, like you said, Paul, if it's already running and verify in production, I think that's enough for us to assume it'll be fine for the developers to use at least until we get a solid answer. So
Okay.
You can get forgiveness instead of permission anyway.
yeah, exactly. But I think we have
I didn't say
precedent, so
that,
we can
did I?
move forward on this.
I think that's a standard saying in a lot of circles.
So let's see, Paul, do you want to look into exactly which JRE
Yeah.
version you guys need at least a minimum of? Because they have everything up to 22 here on Adoptium. So
Yeah.
okay.
I'll let you know on that. If you can put that on my list.
Sure. Cool. Okay, and then just saying the developers do have access to our GitHub, meaning this task is complete. And then as an update from Lois and myself, we did meet this morning to discuss requirements gathering and what the gap analysis and everything is going to look like. Lois already had a plan for who to meet with and in what order and what to discuss. So my plan with that is to let her run with it and attend the important meetings that she'll be having. Some of the more super in-depth ones, I think it would be prudent to just have Lois provide an update for, but she's already got a plan on that, Anna. So I think we're good to go. She's going to, I think, first try to meet with Heidi who of course is out of office right now, but upon her return, Lois will be trying to meet with her, I think, the week of the 2nd or the 4th. So next week.
Great.
And that will begin our requirements gathering and gap analysis for what might be missing currently from the IBIS system.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Mhm. And that one was particularly useful because I think, like we had discovered, the data files SOW includes that gap analysis, and looking after it and reviewing it again, I realized it's pretty comprehensive and contains, I'd say, the majority of, if not all of, what I would plan to do in the requirements gathering. So to minimize duplicative work, I think it makes sense to let Lois go with it and have me assist her however she needs.
Sounds like a good plan.
Great. All right, and last item we've already sort of reviewed, but that's creating that test database for the local instances to run against. And Ash and I met about that this morning. She's going to identify the individual that has the ability to create the databases. I did provide her the list of people that we would need to have access to or administrative access to that database, and that was Paul and Lois, the developers, and myself for any reason if I need to get into it. But hopefully, I'm thinking they'll be able to create the database for us and then just grant us the rights and access so that we can do whatever modifications we deem necessary in there, like creating tables and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, we can, I think Lois still has enough access to take essentially a SQL dump of the production server.
Oh, great.
And then,
Okay.
There's usually some minor changes that you need to do. You know, it comes down to just SQL text. There may be some minor changes that you need to do, but then you can just import it.
Okay, great. Lois, do you mind my assigning that to you if you think you have the access to dump the production database?
Sounds fine. Yep.
Cool. And yeah, that would be a great starting point for sure, instead of having to start from scratch. Okay, is there anything else for the CRAID log that anybody thinks should be added or completed, manipulated in here? I think we've made a lot of progress in the last 7 days.
Definitely. Good job, guys.
Yeah, the hardest part is the contract.
Yeah, evidently, right?
It's true.
So far, anyway.
All right, so on to the tech talk section. Again, I think once we start getting our devs into the actual code, which you guys can feel free to, so long as you have the bandwidth and the cycles, I think. Anna, are we good to let them unleash on just looking around in it, cloning it, and poking around into the code base?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool. I don't expect that you guys will make a ton of progress, but maybe just trying to familiarize yourself with some of the modules, and looking around in it. Obviously, like I said, you won't get maybe very far before Paul assists you in setting things up, but if you can get it downloaded and cloned, and just make sure you've got it on your local ENV and start poking around. I think that would be good for you guys to start getting familiar with it.
Just a quick comment along those lines. We're
Uh-huh.
adopting, Travis and I are adopting the practice of, trying to be more GitHub-like, all right? So you can, when you clone it to your machine, it would be best you did then create a branch if you want to push back to main, or sorry, push back to remote, because you cannot push directly into the main branch on GitHub. What you have to do instead is you have a branch, do your stuff there, push that to remote being GitHub, push that to remote, create a PR to go back to main and have somebody evaluate it.
Yes, I am 100% behind the Git-like process as well, Rod. So I'm with you. Once we do get to that point, developers, where you think that you might need to make changes, they should be tracked and versioned on your own branches using pull requests, like Rod just said. And if you guys do need assistance in that process, Git and GitHub both have very, very good documentation regarding it, and I can help you guys find that if you need it. Git
And-
flow, I think they call it.
Yeah, that's the I like to use that one rather than just the flow, or I prefer that to the trunk-based development. But I mean, they're
Right.
pretty, in my opinion, they're pretty close. Anyway, Git flow, workflow, and trunk-based. The important thing is keeping your iterations short. These month-long iterations before you merge in is not to be followed.
Yeah, it's definitely not optimal. I'm with you.
Exactly.
And Justin,
Yes.
we received some GitHub documentation from Rod and Travis already on the, maintenance and support team.
Okay.
And I posted the links on our SharePoint site. You guys, if you don't have access to this, let me know. And I think this is like actual documentation. Yes, it is. We have GitHub like a folder full of instructions that Travis and Rod have posted.
And looks like I've got access, I think.
And then click on, I don't know about the first one, but I clicked on one with a white cat. And that one
Yeah,
takes you to a
GitHub
folder.
documentation.
Yes.
Yep.
Marco and Anusha, Srinath and Ash already have access to that
Okay,
folder.
fantastic. Great. Yeah, this looks good. Looks like it's got at least all of the basics like merge conflict, and I think I've actually probably seen this cheat sheet before, so that's good. All right. Anything else on the tech talk? Does anybody have anything that they need assistance with, or that they're working on that they want to discuss?
Hi, Justin. I have a question
Yeah.
relating to the repos actually. So Rod mentioned previously that we have 7. I can only find 6 actually.
Okay.
In the NM device production, maybe I'm missing the name because like there are like 130. I can't like scroll and find everything, right? So I just typed IBIS and I got like 4. And there is one called IPHT or something. When I typed that, I got 2. So I got total 6, but I need to find another one.
I'm just curious, maybe there's IBISQ.
I think when I searched IBIS, I got the IBIS Q2 actually.
Okay. Oh, I know what it is. I'm just double checking to see if you're on that in that. Maybe you're not. You know, I don't think the only person I have in there is myself because I didn't know who else I could add. So, okay, so I'll add you, and that should give you visibility to. Gotta find your. Give me a second while I go looking for. Okay, I got your name. I'm going to add that to the team. And okay, so I've added you to the team, and you should get an email or something like that that you could accept. And I believe that will let you see all of the repositories.
Oh, thank you.
All
Ron.
7
Thank
of
you.
them. Yeah.
Thank you.
And Paul, does that also allow Anusha and Marco and myself to see it?
That's Rod, right?
So yeah, my apologies. I was looking at your
No
name.
worries.
Sorry, Rod. Does that allow the rest of us to see it as well?
You, Justin, for sure. I haven't actually put Paul in. Paul, you'd need to have an account on our system, I think. I mean,
That would be great.
you know, so I think that's right. Because we're kind of keeping it restricted to DOH email accounts.
Okay.
So
Paul does now have a DOH
does he?
.nn.gov email. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, give me your. Okay, so you've got one, and you would have to create a GitHub account if you haven't already, using that DOH email, and let me know what that is, and then I can put you in.
So create a GitHub account. Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate
No,
it.
thank you.
I think I also need to be added on that group because I can only see 4 of them.
Okay, Marco, let me see. Let me throw you in there as well. I happen to have.
Thank you.
You know, actually, not sure I have you. Yeah, I do not have. I do not know your. Excuse me, your GitHub account, if you got one, and it must be related to your DOH email account.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome, guys. Great progress. Thank you, Rod.
You're welcome.
Okay. And then if you can also make sure Anusha is on that list, I think we should be good. Devs, if you can, in that dev chat that Rod created on Teams, if you guys can let us know when you confirm that you can see all 7 of those repositories, that would be great.
Sure, Justin.
Thank you.
Sure, Justin. We'll let you know. Yeah, I have to check.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Okay, Anna, you said that you needed a few minutes at the end. I think, unless anybody else has anything, we're ready for your update.
Okay, thanks, Justin.
Mhm.
Guys, I just during the meeting, I updated the team contact list. So Justin, can you just pull up that smart sheet real quick so we can see I added the STG folks. I've filled in some of the blanks, put in email addresses, everything's alphabetized now.
Great.
If any of your info is incorrect, please update it so that Justin and the rest of the team can reach you easily. And that's it. And I moved your project responsibilities from me to you, Justin.
Okay.
I tried to fill in as best I could the percent allocation on the project. I want to welcome Ash to the team also.
Yes,
And-
welcome, Ash. It's good
Yeah,
to have you.
yay! And finally, yeah, thanks for joining us, Ash. Also the last thing I want to mention is that we've learned some things about the way GitHub works in the past like 48 hours or so. One of the things that we discovered on another project is that if somebody gets a GitHub repo, they can then see other people's repos. They can go wander around at will, which I think some of us were unaware of. So we had a meeting earlier today with Shauna and Leaf, Rod, and some developers on that other project. And one of the things, well, we decided on to do a few things to make sure that we don't have any, security violations or breaches or that we lose any or have any data stolen. So one thing that we're asking everyone to do now is to make sure that there are no credentials like, user ID, password, out there. As well as, and Rod, feel free to course correct me, okay? But connection strings to databases, that should also not be in the GitHub repo in clear text. And we're going to be putting a policy together because DOH does not have a policy on this at the moment. So John Zoltai is going to take the lead on crafting the policy with the input of developers on the application support team and also on the application development team. That's John's team. And then the other thing that we talked about with Sean on Leaf is creating a key vault, so that we can put like keys into a secure place. And there's going to have to be a procurement to gain access to the key, to bring the key vault in, and also to give everyone access. So yeah. So just be super aware of that. I can't give you all the details, but fortunately we've got Rod here. And Rod do you have any like thing to add, Rod, or any corrections? If I misstated anything.
No, I think it covered. I think the only thing I would add, I've been and I've got working a proof of concept console app that would read a Azure Key Vault. And the nice thing about the Azure Key Vault, because you can work with it and develop on your development machine. Now we don't have it, but if we had GitHub code spaces, you could do it there. You could, and it can be read from GitHub's CI/CD pipelines. It's really great, and it's tied down because you have to be authenticated when you create the key vault. You have to be authenticated, and they talk about registering the application to it in order to be able to use it or read from it and stuff like that. The best practice, I will say this from what I've read, is you have a key vault for each application instead of one massively huge key vault with all of our connection strings for every app that we own. That's not a good idea. I mean, it makes sense, right? I mean, people who are working on Project A should not have access to Project B's credentials. It's none of their business. So
Yeah.
But
So just as a general rule, none of the stuff that you have in the repo should have any PHI. I don't believe it should have any username and passwords. The connection strings for the database are not included in there.
oh,
Just so
good.
you know.
Yeah, the admin data from the database are not in the Subversion repository. There's no PHI, no SAS data sets.
Well, that is good.
Yeah. Great. Thanks for letting us know, Lois and Paul. And
Sure.
Justin, that's pretty much it. I'll be mentioning this also at the Wednesday application support weekly team meeting. And I'll be keeping, the whole team apprised of like how the policy is progressing through the pipeline. And I'll keep you guys also apprised of our, the Azure Key Vault procurement. Hopefully we can get it sooner rather than later, but we all know how long procurements take.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Well,
it.
great. Thank you for that.
Sure thing. Thank you guys. You're doing an awesome job. We're
Thank
making
you.
tons of progress.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. We'll catch you later.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a good evening.
No, I have to get on.